Bonjour, bonjour, et bienvenue. Welcome to a new week. It's Monday, c'est lundi, and Monday is the day that I go live and that I get to connect and chat with you guys, as usual, with a topic and with enough time for you to share your questions and to participate and to give your experience and also exchange with each other, not just with me. I look forward to this every single week. It is the last thing that I do at the end of my quote unquote client week. So I work with clients one-on-one on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And it's the evening of Monday, and it is the last thing that I do to somehow celebrate in some way my the end of my client week and the start of a new week to do all of my tasks all over again and to connect with more of you guys. So today we have a gorgeous topic, which is how to choose a coach or a teacher or a class. I wanted to do a recorded video on that for a long time. And as you might have noticed, have slacked off a little bit on recorded videos. I just haven't had the time to make them. I'm currently building a system with a team that will help me actually make those videos more easily. But I thought in the meantime, why not make that a system for, why not make that a subject, a topic for a live? Because I'm pretty sure that this is a topic that you would be interested in knowing just how to choose the right coach, the right teacher, or the right perhaps group class for you. So I see we have our usual suspects here. We have Yasmin, we have Linda. Welcome to everyone. I see you're chatting in French in the comments. That is super cool. Linda is saying, j'attends ça avec impatience toute la semaine. So she's waiting for this live impatiently all week. And Yasmin is saying, haha, moi aussi, Angèle est tard. En retard? Yeah, I was late by like 2-3 minutes. I just had to make sure that I didn't have too many softwares running and that my computer was plugged to the fan so that it doesn't overheat. Because unfortunately, it actually eats a lot of the computer's resources to go live for an hour. So this time I was like, okay, I'm gonna take 2 minutes just to make sure nothing goes wrong. And so my computer stays at an okay temperature so I can talk to you and not be worried. So we have Omo Waleyo here and we have Com. Welcome. It's so nice to see you guys back here. It's amazing. Like I said, the topic is how to choose a coach or a teacher or a class. First, let me give you a little bit of housekeeping on the status of my stuff. So my one-on-one coaching slots are still booked out. So if as a result of this live, you come to the conclusion that you want to work with me one-on-one, that will not be possible right now. But of course, you will be not the first to know, the seconds to know when new spots become available, because the first to know will be the people in the French Fluency Accelerator. So if you want to be one step closer to me and one step closer perhaps to one-on-one coaching spot, if you want to have one in the future, the people who are enrolled currently in my one-on-one, in my French Fluency Accelerator program, which you can see at frenchfluency.net/accelerator. I think the link is in the description. I'm not sure, but you'll find it easily on my website. It's frenchfluency.net. The students who are currently enrolled will have the first dibs to the one-on-one coaching spots when they become available. And then if some spots or a spot is left after those students have decided whether or not they want to have it, then I will tell you guys on Telegram first, because that's Telegram is every day. And then of course I will announce it on YouTube if it comes on Monday and there is still a spot available. Speaking of the French Fluency Accelerator, if you are right now in the French Fluency Accelerator, you already know that next Sunday, this Sunday, at exactly the same time as this right now, we have our next live class. So the French Fluency Accelerator students meet live once a month, and then the recordings of those meetings or those courses actually go to the member zone. So you can have access to the recordings forever, even if you can't make it live, or if you can, it doesn't matter. You will have access to the recordings, not forever, but for as long as you're subscribed. And when you join, you will have access to all the recordings that have existed in the past. I think we have over 20 now, because I make a new one every month. So that's why it's a subscription-based program, because there will be new content every month for you. So yeah, enough ramble. Just so the French Accelerator, remember that you have your live class coming this Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you. It's going to be amazing. I have sent the exercise already. The exercise is about a video that is called Le bébé abandonné d'Orly. So it's about a young woman who's now 26 years old, and when she was a small baby, she was found in the Paris airport in Orly. And so the video retraces her story and the efforts that she has made to try and find where she originally comes from. That's what we will study on Sunday. If you're in the French Accelerator right now, you have that since yesterday in your inbox. If you want to sign up and join the live class, you still can. I need to tell you that there is homework, so please don't join like last minute before the live class because it's pointless, but you could decide to join now, and then I would send the exercise to you per email, and you will receive it, and you will be able to prepare and to join us. So that's it for housekeeping. It's a lot of housekeeping. I see we have tons of comments. We have Tenzin here. Welcome. Oh, we have Deborah from Brisbane. Amazing. So cool. 4 a.m. Wow. Are you always up at 4 a.m.? That's amazing. I hope you're not getting, well, I mean, I'm honored if you get up at 4 a.m. just to see me. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you're here. It's amazing. And then, how's tomorrow working out? Yeah, we want to know how's tomorrow. Right. Sunday time, the same time as this time. So I don't know what your time zone is, but whatever time is right now, I mean, well, 10 minutes ago, that will be the time of the live class. I don't recognize your name, so I don't think you're in the French Accelerator right now, but if you sign up now, basically, or tomorrow, I will send you the exercise and you can join. So, yep. Sorry, didn't just lucky. Well, that's cool. I'm happy that you get to start your day with hearing me talk about how to choose a coach or a teacher or a class. So now that I have explained what's going on in my world and how you can work with me and join the different things that I have going on right now, let's move on to the topic at hand. And I will actually want to start it with a question for you. Please tell me, if you wanted to hire a coach or a teacher or a class, or to just take a new step in your French learning journey, what would you take into considerations? Like for you, what would be important things that you would consider? How would you go about choosing a teacher or choosing a group class or choosing even a program or a course? We have to go back to sleep soon, though. Sorry. I totally understand. I mean, it's 4 a.m. I'm not expecting you to stay up at that time. So, and I mean, it's always recorded. So if you want, you can always listen to the recordings. Yes, fun, laughter. So that's, I guess, what you're looking for in the class, right? So that would be part of my fourth point, actually. So I will just add that here to make sure I speak about that, because I have 4 points in this thing. I just want to see what else you would come up with. All right, so anyone else has something? I would assume that the budget would be important, right? So often when you want to hire someone or to join a class, most of it is not free, right? So how much money you have available would be an important question. That's also something I have in the plan today. Personal connection, yes, connection, absolutely. That's in my fourth point, definitely. Anything else you can think of? So far, no one has found like the main thing. So if you're joining right now, the question is, what are you considering? What helps you choose? Okay, so the topic is how to hire a coach or a teacher or join a class and how to choose. And so we are looking for your input on what are the things that are important for you. And so Deborah said fun, laughter, personal connection. What other elements you would take into account? Just give me whatever comes through your head. I'm just curious to see what you would think. Colm is saying ability to teach. Yes, so that would be the competence of the person. Yeah, where would I put that? That would be, yes, competence of the coach or teacher. That I would put also in my fourth part. Teaching style, yes, this is something. Linda is saying my goal. That's actually my first point, but I know you're kind of cheating because you've listened to everything I've ever said 4 or 5 times. So yeah, goal is the first one we'll speak about. Identifying next salient learnings. That is cool. Like I can see that you're a teacher, Deborah, for saying something like that. So that's part of the competence of the teacher. And it's funny because it's literally what I do, not every day, but all day on my clients' days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's what I do is identifying the next thing that the people can learn, that each of my clients can learn. So yep, that's part of the competence of the teacher. Absolutely. Especially if it's one-on-one, it's particularly important. If it's in a group class, then it's a bit harder to identify everybody's next points. That's definitely harder. That's why I work one-on-one, and I only do a live class once a month for my French Accelerator students, just because it's a different way of doing things. I would want to actually do more live classes if I had the time. I'll try to organize and make more live classes. They're fun. All right. Yasmin is saying not everyone learns the same, so that's important. Yes, the teaching style and so teaching and learning style on the side of the student. Anything else you can think of? Deborah is saying, yep, and interested in pedagogy for language acquisition, right? So that's still the competence of the teacher. So yes, or that's actually your competence. But I know that you also teach French, right? You lead a group of French learners, so definitely that's the thing that you're good at. So that's why you have like such pointed input. Anyone is thinking of something else? Hey, I've got 2 entire points that no one has mentioned. I mean, that's going to be cool. I mean, I know that I will be, that's not me, the teacher, or you're just organizing the group, right? That's cool. I mean, I will be able to teach you stuff because unless some of you are like sitting in the corner thinking of it, but not typing, which by the way, no reason to do that. Like there's no good or bad answer. I mean, there are probably only good answers, to be honest. There are no bad answers. So yeah, it's just to know where you're at and what you would be taking into consideration. So the first point that I have, and Linda got it right, is your goals. And your goals is the first thing. You have to know what it looks like for you to like the kind of level you want to achieve, the kind of goals, the kind of French speaker that you want to be. And that is, I know Linda said it because it's the first step on every single one of my programs, which she has taken them all and she knows it by heart. So that makes sense. But really, like, if you're not Linda, listen up. It's critical that you know clearly where you are going. And there are 2 reasons for that. First, because if you don't know where you're going, you can't get there. And fluency is not a goal. It's not. Fluency is, I understand that it's cool to be fluent, it sounds good, but it does not tell you what situations you want to speak French in, what kind of French level you want to have. Like, what would you want to speak more like street French, or would you want to speak professional French for a particular profession? What kind of people you want to speak French to? What kind of things you want to, like, experiences you want to access? Do you just want to travel to France and have a great time in the summer? Or do you plan on, I don't know, leading a business in France, for example? Because that would be 2 very different situations. And so this is always, always, always the first step in all of my courses. And if a course or any relation with a teacher does not start with that, well, that means that as a student, it's on you. Like, that is your responsibility as a student, unless you find a way to outsource it to someone. And whenever I work one-on-one with a student, I spend a full hour at the beginning of the coaching. The first hour is just me asking so many questions to refine the goals of the students so I know exactly where they're going so I can make their learning plan. And it's more than an hour, because first we have a half an hour free consultation before they even can hire me. So in that half an hour, I will have already an idea of where they want to go and whether I can help them get there. That's why we have free consultations. And then they have a questionnaire which they have to fill, and it should take them like a good half an hour to even fill that questionnaire. And then I spend an entire hour gathering information for them. So in total, that's like 2 hours of just working on defining the goals. And that's how important it is. In my courses, so the French Accelerator and the French Life Launchpad, the first module, which is over an hour, is completely dedicated to just this: defining your goal, knowing where you are going. And this is super critical. This is the difference between getting there fast and never getting there. Like, I don't want to like sugarcoat this for you, like, because I know so many people just don't really want to define goals. They don't see the point. They just want to learn French. There is no such thing as just learning French. French is a language with over 100,000 words and so much grammar, it could make your head explode. Not to mention that, of course, there are different levels of languages. There are different countries that speak French. Over 50 countries have French as an official language. And it's just all different all over. and you cannot learn all the French. I do not know all the French. In fact, I spend my entire day with my clients looking around for words and for ways that things are said in different professions, because my clients have typically very advanced professions that I don't really know much about. Like, I have a lot of general knowledge, and it's actually something that I love. I love to gather more general knowledge, and it's one of the reasons why I love this job so much, that I learn so much every day. And a lot of what I learn is actually French words, believe it or not, or French expressions. It's not that I don't know the words most of the time, but for example, just 2 hours ago, I was giving class to a United Nations peace builder. And in peace building, there are lots of processes and lots of things that they do that I don't know what those things are called, and I actually have to research it. I have developed the capacity to research these kind of things extremely fast, and I do it actually during the session, and then I give the words to the students for them to learn and to put in their vocabulary notebook. So that I went on a tangent. I don't remember why. Oh yes, because just to try and explain to you just how much, like how vast the French language is, and you cannot just learn French. Like, if you are still at a point where you want to just learn French, it's not going to really happen anytime soon. Like, I'm sorry to be so blunt, but you have to be specific. You have to define exactly what you want to do. So I want to give you 2 ways that you can do that. First, 2 ways that you can do it for free, because you can't hire me right now because I'm booked out. So I'm sorry I can't do it for you. If you are in the French Accelerator or in the French Life Launchpad and you haven't done that yet, this is the first module. Please take that first module. It is more useful, more efficient than any of the things I can give you for free, of course, because there's a reason why it's a paid course. But if you're not in any of those courses, you can get started right now for free. You have to get the fluency worksheet, which is part of the French Fluency Starter Kit. I think the link is in the description, I hope. Otherwise, it's frenchfluency.net/starterkit. You will find it on my website fairly easily. There's a pop-up and it pops in your face, and there are links everywhere. You will find it. So is this part of the French Fluency Starter Kit? And it is the first question, the very first question in the French Fluency worksheet. Actually, it would be in your interest to do the entire process, but the first question is the one that helps you define your goals. Actually, the first 2, to be specific. So step 1 is define fluency. What would fluency look like for you? What will you be able to do when you are fluent? So write your answer below. I would recommend writing it in a bigger spot than that. Like, if you can't be writing for at least 5 minutes, just really defining what you want to do in French, yeah, you just haven't dig deep enough. And the deeper you dig in this part of the process, the easier it will be to get there. So take those 5 minutes, or even better, take the 1 hour for the workshop in the French Accelerator or in the French Life Launchpad, so that you can have this nailed down, because this is the critical step. Another exercise that you can use is, we have a video on this channel, which is called How to Learn French and Become a French Speaker. It's from January 2020, and it hasn't had a lot of views. It's a video that I made back in the days when I wasn't so good or so versed at YouTube yet. I didn't really know how to reference those videos, so it's quite poorly referenced. If you haven't watched all of my videos, you probably haven't watched that one. It's called How to Learn French and Become a French Speaker. And you can just type in YouTube, like Angèle Préto, How to Learn French and Become a French Speaker. It will pop up. And then there is a guided visualization in that video and a journaling exercise that you can do, and that will help you define your goals. So this is critical. It's the first step. It's free. If you are in one of my paid courses, you can take the workshop. That will be more efficient than doing it for free, but you can do it for free. It's just taking the time, and I swear it will save you so much time. Like, do it. This is the most important thing. I mean, like I said, me and my student take 2 hours at the beginning of every coaching relationship to define the goals. That's how important it is. And that's how I get my students to have results fast. Other tthan me being a great coach, like, I'm not going to say that I'm not a great coach. I'm completely confident that I'm a great coach. I get feedback every day from my students about how helpful my help is, There's something to be said about the competence of the teacher, which we will speak about in the 4th point. But also there is something to be said about the method. And the reason why my students learn fast is because we define their goals very clearly, and we do not waste time on things that they do not need to learn. And most of the French language, you actually do not need to learn it. So the point of this step, I know I'm rambling and I'm insisting and repeating, but it is super important to define your goals very specifically and know where you are going. Super critical. So I hope this has landed. If you have any question, now is the time to hit the comment section. I see there are a whole bunch of comments that I haven't answered. By the way, we still haven't managed to hit 100 comments in a 1 hour live on YouTube. So I'm kind of still looking forward to having 100 comments. If you are on my Telegram channel, if you're not, you should definitely join my Telegram channel because it's a lot of fun to be there. You'll find also a video. Like if you don't know what Telegram is, there is a video on how to learn French with Telegram on this channel. You can find it, and then it will show you exactly how you do it and how it works. So any questions, please type them in, and I will love to answer them right now before we move on to the point number 2. So we have lots of messages. Deborah says, I don't like the term fluent. It means different things to different people. Many think perfection. Ooh, this is a great remark. Like, oh my God, yes. Honestly, it's a marketing term at this point. You have books like Fluent in 3 months. I'm not going to look for it in the bookshelf, otherwise it will take me forever to find it, and it might not even be here. But Fluent in 3 months, Fluent forever, it's just, Fluent is really like a good book title. It sells a lot of books, but it does not mean anything. And I have so many students who come to me, and the first thing they say is, I want to be fluent. I'm like, okay, we have to dig deeper here. And I'm not going to go on the rumble all over again because I just explained it, but fluent is, yeah, fluent is a feeling. Like, I am fluent in English. You can notice that I have no problem speaking to you actually fast, even live on YouTube, and you have no problem understanding me. This is fluency. Does it mean that another English speaker needs to do the exact same thing that I do, meaning going live on YouTube and explaining things about how to learn a language? No, like the vast majority of English speakers do not know how to do this, cannot do this, and do not need to do this. So this is my fluency, and other people's fluency in English will look completely different. And similarly in French, your fluency will look different from that of another person. And that is why you need to define your goals. So I have a degree in English, and of course, I don't know all the English words either. Right. I mean, I also have a degree in English. Actually, I have a bachelor's degree in English literature and civilization. And of course, no, I don't know all the English words, nor the French words, nor all the words of any of the language that I speak. I tried to learn Tokipona, which is a language with only, I believe, 124 words. So if you speak Tokipona, it's possible that you know all the words, but then that's a constructed language which has been created with the goal of having few words. So keep that in mind. But if you're thinking of a natural language, especially a language that's as vast as English or French, which are the 2 languages that are spoken on all 5 or 6 continents, depending on how you count them, you will never know all the words. Like, it's give up. Like, if your goal is to know all the words, you cannot. It's impossible. It's just too many speakers, too many different sociolects and different dialects, and just, yeah, you can't. Okay, SMART goal for incremental goals. Yes, so actually you can, but I think you have access to one of my courses too. But this is basically, this helps you create incremental goals as well with the charts. So that's part of it. Totally support adult learners making their own learning decisions, not just because it's the next chapter in the textbook. Yes, this is basically the whole point of defining your goals, is that you can make your own learning decisions. And if you hire a coach, that is so that you get to outsource those decisions, and they are better made, because of course, like, the relation between a coach and a student, I think I'm overstepping my point right now, and it's part of the fourth point, but basically I'm the expert in French learning, but you are the expert in you, and I can never actually know 100% what's helpful for you. I can only take guesses. So the whole point of one-on-one coaching is to get feedback every time. And also in the French Fluency Accelerator, I insist a lot on getting feedback. If you've ever been on one of those live classes, or you have purchased one of those recordings, you know, like the French Life Launchpad or Mastering French Pronunciation, or any of the ones that I will release in the future soon, you will see that there is a lot of feedback from students, and it is really helpful to have their questions and their feedback and their point of view. So I thrive on feedback. Like, this entire business is built on feedback, and possibly every single business is actually built on feedback. Every business that works. So yep, super important. So Linda says, agreed, you need to learn what you need to know, not what is easiest for a teacher to teach a group. Yes, this is also an issue with joining a group. So if you choose to join a group, you need to make sure that your goals are aligned with that of the group. So that's basically like what I said at the beginning, the 2 reasons why it's so important to define your goals. If you don't know where you're going, you can't get there. And if then once you know your goals, you want to make sure that the course or the teacher or the coach will be able to get you there. And especially if it's a group class, you need to make sure that the goals of the class are aligned with your goals. And you should not shy away from interviewing the teacher or interviewing the school director and asking them, are my goals included in the course? And if they cannot answer, it's a bad sign. You want to make sure that they know for a fact what they are teaching and that it is aligned with what you want. Otherwise, this is not a fit for you. Like, you know already from the beginning that it's not going to help you. So the goals are super critical. Trying for 100 comments. Yeah, like, let's do it. We can do it. Making my contribution. This is amazing. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate your contribution, especially at 4 a.m. That's like, you're on fire. Nina saying, Connie is sick today. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. She says to tell you hi and said hugs and kisses to everyone. Well, hugs and kisses to everyone from Connie. I'm so sorry she can't make it. I hope she can watch the recording and enjoy it, or see it like from her bed or something. But yeah, I hope she recovers soon. You can send her a text to her or whatever. Yeah, so sad to not see her. So Homo Balayo says, get well soon, Connie. Sending her lots of loves. Thank you. I will tell her. You're welcome. Okay, great. So we've made it to the end of the comments. I guess you don't have any other questions or comments on the point 1. So let's move on to point 2. Point 2 is your level of commitment. So if you have made it through point 1 and you have defined your goal, that means that your level of commitment is quite good already. I have a complete video that's about this. It's called Want to Learn French, How to Start Making Massive Progress Now. It's also a video that didn't get a lot of views because I made it over a year ago, I think. And at the time, I was just not that great at referencing videos. So I will rework that video so it gets better. But if you can dig it up, it is a great video. And it speaks about 3 different levels of commitments that you can have. It's a concept that I borrowed from this book, Secret of the Millionaire Mind. So it's not about French learning. It's about making money and building wealth. But one thing that the author, T.R. Becker, of this book says is that how you do anything is how you do everything. And when I read in this book, it was probably on my 3rd or 4th read because I read it so many times. Like, you know how good a book, one of my book is, a book's from my bookshelf, not a book I wrote, based on how many of like the little bookmarks I paste in it. So this one has a lot. It's a great book. That's how you can know that really fast. So probably I was reading it for the 3rd or 4th time when I was stumbling upon this idea of the 3 different levels of commitment. And I saw that and I thought, whoa, it's exactly the same thing for wealth building, or for like getting rich, as he likes to say it, as it is for becoming a French speaker, for learning French. And it's not weird because, as he says, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so if you do something with commitment, you are very likely to do the other things in your life with commitments. So there are 3 levels. Like I said, it's in that video called Want to Learn French, How to Start Making Massive Progress Now. But I'll just summarize them quickly here so just you can follow. So the first level, and I just literally borrowed the wording from the book, it's I want to learn French. So in the book, it was I want to get rich. I want to be rich. So if you just want to, T.R. Becker says that it means you're not committed. It means you're like, oh yeah, I'll take it if it falls on my lap. The problem is that wealth and a language and anything really worthwhile does not just fall into your lap. It takes commitment. So if you're like, oh yeah, I want to learn French, like someday maybe if it's easy, yeah, you might want to strengthen your commitments. Like if you're the kind of person who has given up on this live stream at the moment that I said you have to define your goals, and I insisted on that, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to define my goals, that's a bad sign. Like it means you're just not even committed enough to define your goals. It's a problem. If you're still here and still watching, then you're probably committed enough to at least define your goals. So you're at least part of the second level. The second level is I choose to learn French. And also, again, I took the wording from T.R. Becker. And it means that you commit enough that you would choose to do French over something else. Because when you say I want to learn French, there could be an endless list of things that you want to do. I have a bucket list for my life, which is huge. Like I want to learn Chinese and Russian and Arabic and all those languages. But I'm not doing it right now because I'm not committed, and it's just more like a pie in the sky thing that I want to do. Like I know I would probably do them in the future. Maybe something will happen and we'll commit to those languages. There are so many things I quote unquote want to do, but there are things that I'm committed to doing and that I choose to do. For example, I'm committed to showing up every week, every Monday at the same time. to be here for you. That's a commitment. And I chose to do that, and then I committed to it. So if you choose to learn French, you're more like on the right path. It means that if you get to choose between French and something else, like if, for example, tonight you get to either watch me or just, watch Netflix or watch something else that perhaps is more entertaining, but you choose to learn French, you're a level 2 student. You have level 2 commitment. You're already more likely to be successful with French. The third level of commitment is I commit to learning French. Now, that means that not only you choose French over something else, it means that you will do that on the long run. So perhaps you will commit to be here every single week to listen to what I have to say and get some nuggets on how you can get the next step into your French study, or what you can do next, or get your questions answered. Or perhaps you will sign up for a course, and like maybe it's a group class and you show up every week at the same time for the group class, even if it's inconvenient. Or you will hire a coach and you will have your session every week, and you will get your routine designed by your coach. I mean, well, if it's me, I will design your routine based on the routine that already exists. Like, I don't design it from scratch, don't worry. It's made to integrate in your life. And then you'll do it. And if it doesn't work, you will come to speak to me and be like, oh yeah, this doesn't really work. How can we adapt it so it works? And this is really important. Like, I could not possibly teach one-on-one a student who was not committed. And even not one-on-one, even in my group programs, like, okay, sure, you're free to sign up for the program and buy it and never open it. It's your call, but it's a bad idea. It's a waste of money. Like, you want to be committed and to actually do the things that will get you the results. So the second point is really your level of commitment, super important. If you have made it at this point and you're like, oh no, I guess actually I'm not committed. Like, it's, yeah, I want to learn French, but it's one thing among like 37 things I want to do in my life, or I want to do even worse this year. Yeah, it might not work, but maybe it's okay. Like, it's not a judgment. Like, some people just like to dabble in French, and if you're just about dabbling and learning a word here and a word there just for fun and for enjoyment, you can do a little bit of Duolingo. You can follow a couple of Instagram accounts, and maybe it's just what you need and what you want, and that's fine. But if you're committed to learning French, then these kind of things won't be enough. So it's important to know which level you're at. So I hope that makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please type them in, and I'll be happy to answer them, because before we move on to point number 3. There are a whole bunch of messages here. So Deborah is saying, commitment, great point. Often when people are disappointed with their progress, this could be it. Yes, it's actually pretty true. You raise a really good point. Often people will be, after 2 or 3 years, like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to learn French for 3 years, but I haven't learned anything. It might just be because you haven't committed, because you haven't shown up for the class, or you haven't committed enough to define your goals. It's so common that people just sign up for a class, especially a group class. Back in the days before I had this business, I used to teach at the Open University here in Vienna. And we had a big issue in that university, and that was the case for every course of every language and every even other topic. The beginner class was full, and then by the end of the semester, there just wasn't enough student. Most of the time, there wasn't enough student to open the intermediate class. And it's because the students they get excited at the beginning of the year. They're like, I'm going to learn French this year. They sign up, and then they come 2-3 times, and then they're like, I guess I'm just not going to go today. I'll just rather, stay home, watch Netflix, or go out with my friends or whatever. And if you're not committed, it's probably not going to work. Like, I spend a lot of time and effort on this channel explaining to you how you can learn with very little effort, with actually as little effort as possible, because I strongly believe that the little effort, like the less efforts it takes, the more likely you actually are to learn. But effort and commitment is not the same. And actually, I'm just getting ahead of myself into the third point, but we'll speak about effort right now. Effort and commitment is not at all the same. You can be committed to doing French and still not want to break your back doing it, because you know that it actually doesn't work if you put in a lot of efforts. It's something that should flow and be a natural process. But natural does not mean that you're not committed. You have to be committed to showing up. Even if you take the daily French bath and it's minute 34, it's the first time I'm saying daily French bath. I think I've outdone myself again. But the daily French bath, if you have never heard of it, it means you're new on this channel, so welcome. It's one of the two things that I recommend you do daily, so it's called the daily French bath, the other one being the vocabulary review. And those are the two things that will help you learn French really on autopilot. Like you can make it a habit and you don't even have to focus on the vocabulary review, you have to focus on it. But the daily French bath is just having a lot of French around you. And this will help you tremendously. It's called immersion in, language learning jargon. I like to call it the daily French bath because it's like you're bathing in French. That's easy. That doesn't even take time because you can do it while you drive, while you run, while you cook, or while you clean, or while you work out, or whatever you're doing at the same time. You don't even need to focus. You don't need to put in effort, but you do need to do it. You have to press play. I have a video about the daily French bath that explains how to do it. It's called How to Learn French in Just One Click. It sounds like it doesn't take a lot of effort because it doesn't, but it does take the commitment of doing the click every day. That's it. That's commitment. So, yep. Linda saying, I like using choose instead of want. Self-talk is important. Yes, yes. And also want. So this is a remark I couldn't make about the French language, but in English, want actually originally means miss. Like if you want something, it means the thing is missing from you. And it's not a very empowering word. I choose is much more empowering. Everybody wants to have freedom and to choose. No one wants to be lacking, right? So choose instead of want. Great shift of words. Absolutely. Deborah says, not me, but some struggle with motivation and have many other things in their life, like family, etc. This is true. This is true. And this is why I insist so much on having as little effort as possible and really making the routine that works for you. I have so many students that have families, careers. Some of them are relocating at the same time. I have some that run several businesses. Or run one business and study also. I have students that are crazily busy, and a big part of my work is helping them tailor their routine so they do manage to learn French despite having their life extremely busy. And like those people have, they have children that are often really even small, an entire family, a career, studying for yet something other than French. You can have a lot. And that's actually one reason to choose a coach rather than a teacher, is that your coach will help you fit it in, while often a class or a teacher is going to be, okay, well, if you can't do it this one way, then if you can't show up for the class, or if you can't whatever, then it's not going to work. So that's an advantage of coach over teacher. By the way, I'm considering for next week making the topic the differences between a teacher and a coach. Please tell me if that's a topic that you would like to have next week. I wanted to make a recorded video, but lately I suck at that. I would just rather make it the topic for this live class if it's something interesting for you. So please just give me a yes in the comment, or tell me, yes, I want to know the differences between teacher and coach next week, and then that will be my topic. If you don't like it, if you don't want to hear it, then I'll choose something else. But if that sounds interesting, please just hit the comment section and tell me, yes, you want to know it. And about struggling with motivation, I think the next class that I will release, the next individual class, will be about motivation, because that was the last topic last month that my French Accelerator students chose. So in the French Accelerator, I create a new full module, which is about either grammar or a topic, but not a French class. The one that I told you about at the beginning of this video is a French live class. It's this next Sunday. So that's different. It's really actually learning French in the class and working with a document. But 3-4 times a year, I make a actual workshop, which is a course that I design entirely from scratch. And the students vote for the topic. And the topic that they chose last month was motivation. So now this course exists. I just have to work with my team to release it. We just need to finish wrapping it up. It actually takes a longer time than it sounds, which is why it's not done yet. But motivation is important. And I'm actually very happy about this course because it really moves away from the traditional definition of motivation and really finding a new way of doing it. So I don't want to tell you too much about that. I'll tell you about it when it's released. Probably won't be by next Monday, but when it's released, I make a full class about motivation and a full live about motivation, and we get to speak about it then. You should have registered daily French bath. I use this, let the French wash over you, like a warm French bath. That's the whole point. It's all to just let it wash over you, and it takes zero effort. Like if you're starting to put in efforts during your daily French bath, you're doing it wrong. It's really just about letting the French watch over you. I could try trademarking daily French bath, but I'm not sure they would let me. Linda, that's why French bath is so great. You can listen to the radio or a TV show or a YouTube channel in the background while you do other things. Yes, that's what it's all about. Omo Waleyo, daily French bath sounds great. Okay, cool. And Deborah is saying French coach versus teacher. Yes. Okay, so I'll do that next week. I'm happy that it's interesting for you. If any other listener is interested in that too, please let me know. And then that will be the topic next week. Right, so point 3. It's already 40 minutes. Maybe I should speed myself up if I want to stick to the hour. Point 3, I call that your currencies. So your currencies is basically what you are willing to quote unquote pay, what you are willing to exchange for your amazing French skills, which you have defined with your goals and you have committed to on point 1 and point 2. So your currencies, you basically have 3 different currencies. So obviously one currency is money. Your budget is important. If you want to hire a coach like me, it's going to be more expensive than if you hire any random teacher on italki. I want to just be open about that. I'm more expensive than the average teacher you can find on the average French learning platform because this is my specialty. Like I specialize in coaching native English speakers in learning French as their second language and doing it as fast as possible and sticking to their goals. So how much money you have is important. And if you have no money, then the other points, and because the other 2 currencies will be even more important, and the other points here are even more important, because if you cannot hire a coach to define your goals and help you with your routine and all that stuff just because you don't have enough money or you have no money at all, then that means that defining your goals, finding your routine, committing, and doing all that stuff, it means it's all on you as the student. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You absolutely can do it, and it's perfectly possible to learn a language for free entirely, even French. But it means it takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of discernment, and it takes a lot of the other 2 currencies, which is 1, time. I mean, the whole point of hiring a coach is to shortcut your time between now and where you want to be. I once heard this amazing definition of coaching, which said that a coach is a vehicle. And this is true. A coach is like a bus, right? Originally. And so a coach is someone that can take you faster from where you are to your goal. That's what coaching is about. I'll speak about that again next week because that's going to be the topic, coach versus teacher. So a coach is here to get you there faster. That means if you cannot afford to hire a coach or you cannot find a coach that can work with you, I mean, sorry, I'm booked out right now, so I can't do it even if you would want to, unfortunately. I'll tell you when I have new spots. You can also join the French Fluency Accelerator and then I can help you a bit more. Or otherwise, well, you have to put in the time because it means that you'll have to show up every Monday and ask me your questions every week so that I can answer them for free. And it takes a lot more time to just be here and as part of a group and as part of like this little live to ask your questions than it would if you had 1 hour with me every week and I would just be correcting your homework and all that stuff. If you have less money, you need to put in more time and you need to put in more commitment and to be very, very discerning with what you use, because objectively, everything is available for free on the internet. What's difficult is to know what works well. That is difficult. That's the difficult part. It's not about getting information. It's about combing through information. That's what is hard. So how much money you have, if you have a lot of money available, and if you don't have a lot of time, then that means that it's good to hire a coach, and you want to make sure, that will be point number 4. You want to make sure that you have the right coach. If you don't have money, then the coach is off the table. Maybe you don't even have money to pay for one-on-one lessons on italki. It's not very expensive, but it's still like a good one. A good person is still like $30 an hour. So maybe you don't have that kind of budget, and it's cool. But then it means that you have to get into language exchange, for example, and that takes more time because you have to give as much time to the other person as you have for yourself, and then it takes a lot of time to find the right person, and it's a whole other kind of worm. So you have to get clear on like how much money you have, how much time you have, and how much you're willing to put into. And then the third one, that is the trickiest by far. So often people refer to the 3 currencies as time, money, and energy. I wrote it as energy or effort because, like I said, it's not about how much effort you put in, but it will take some energy. And if you don't have much money, it will take a lot of time and energy. If you don't have a lot of energy, it will take a lot of time and money because you can't put in the energy. And if you don't have a lot of time, it will take a lot of money, right? You'll have to pay for a coach which can help you get there in a short amount of time. and it will also take a lot of energy. I was amazed by just the amount of energy that's expended in my one-on-one sessions. Like just yesterday and today, I just 1 hour when I'm with a student is me focusing on the student extremely for that 1 hour, just being extremely focused. I think it's something I would not be able to do if I wasn't such a meditator. Like I'm sure this is a capacity that's afforded to me by meditation, and it's not nearly as tiring for me as it is for the student. Like the students that I have on those sessions, they're just extremely committed, and they're like, okay, this is my 1 hour of French. I know I'll be tired at the end, but I'll get as much French as I can in that 1 hour because I don't have a lot of time, right? So they pay for the coaching, which is quite expensive, and they expend a lot of energy because this way it is fast. So you have to really get clear on what your currencies are, and often you need two of those. If you have all three, it's actually dangerous if you have all three, because you have a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money. For example, you're retired and you just happen to have a lot of money and a lot of energy because it's you. That's dangerous because you're very likely to squander your resources because you have a lot. You could still, like if you have a lot of money and not a lot of time, you could still squander your resources if you don't do the fourth point very well. So that's why all the four points are important. But yeah, like be mindful, because if you have a lot of resources, you're very likely to not be as mindful of your resources as if you have little, and you're likely to just waste a lot of time, waste a lot of money, and waste a lot of effort, and that would suck. So I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, please type them in. I'll take a couple of questions, and then I'll move on to the fourth point. So currency, very interesting. Discernment, great work for much of this. Thanks. Yes, discernment is just so important. Like it's all about it. Knowing what works is a difficult part. Yes, that is part of the reason why I'm live here for 1 hour every week. Please, if you have, like, just try to form a question and ask it to me, because then I will be able to help you know what works. That's the whole point of having this 1 hour, which is for free. It's my office hours, and the whole point is that I'm here to answer your questions. Perhaps sometimes it is difficult to formulate the question, but do your best to bring your question, and then I'll help you get one step farther. And then Linda is saying, yes, discernment starts with defining your goals. Yeah, actually, discernment is everywhere, right? You have to discern your goals, you have to discern your level of commitment, you have to discern your currencies. And then, I mean, the fourth point is it's all about discernment, definitely. Then you have to be discerning to find the right tools. I just got ahead of what you wrote. Even for the French bath, find things you enjoy and or can use towards goals. Yes, so the French bath is critical, and the resources that you use for the French bath are also pretty important. That's also actually a topic that I could use for live, resources for the French bath. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. Just type in the comment, and I start making a list of the topics that I can do in the future weeks. Because yes, in the French Life Launchpad and in the French Accelerator, the second workshop, I believe, the second module is about finding resources. So it's like 90 minutes just about that, not just for the French bath, but for everything. And I tell you exactly how I find resources for my clients, so you can use the exact same system. I just literally tell you what I type in Google to find those resources. So you can use the exact same way to me. And Linda saying, it is tiring. I'm sure you're talking about your one-on-one sessions now. When I have a lesson or class, and even when I'm studying on my own, I'm really focused. I don't realize how tiring focusing that hard is till I stop. Yes, sometimes you want to maybe make shorter sessions. Like you might be better off with 20 minutes at a time. Of course, I mean, the one-on-one sessions are 1 hour. Often, especially with you, Linda, I tend to make a break in the middle. It depends. It's different from people to people. Some clients just like to have a little bit of a chit-chat in the middle, so like it relaxes you. Most of my clients, I find, are just really professional adults that are used to focusing for long spans of time. So I do the entire hour with them. It really depends on the personality of the client. Amoadio says, yes, interested in resources for the French bath. Okay, so I'm just going to write that here. Okay, so next topics: coach versus teacher and resources for French bath. So if you have any questions, please type them in. Else, I'll move on to the fourth point. So hopefully I do have a couple of minutes to answer questions about anything. But if you have questions on other topics, you can also start typing them in, so I get a chance to get them in before the end of the hour. So the fourth point, I wrote a gut feeling, trust, connection, and then I wrote from what you, the input that you gave me, fun, laughter, basically the competence of the coach or teacher. the teaching style, the learning style, their capacity to identify what you want to learn next, what you need to learn next, their pedagogy. Is basically finding the person that clicks with you. That is super duper important. I would never be able to coach a client who does not trust me and who I don't trust. This is really like the essence, especially with a coach, but this is also true as a with a teacher, because at the end of the day, a good teacher is really someone who's actually able to coach you. That's definitely something we'll speak about next week in the difference between coaching and teaching. Often it's like a blurred situation. It's more like a spectrum. Like you have more coaching at one hand and teaching at the other hand. And the best people will be like in the middle. Like I'm a coach, but I also teach a lot, especially in my one-on-one sessions and in the modules in the French Accelerator. You can see I teach stuff like verbs. Like there's one about pronouns. There's one about adjectives. I do teach the content of the French language, but I also do share a lot about strategy and mindset and all the things that help you learn. So really the fourth point is that you just want to vet your coach or teacher and make sure that this is the right person for you. Also, a great reason why I make this YouTube channel, if you are considering hiring someone and that person has made videos, or even better, that person is going live, you can go and ask them questions. When I have open spots for one-on-one coaching, you can actually book a free half an hour consultation with me to see if we could work together, to share with me your situation and see if it's something that I can do. Most of the time, it's something that I am actually able to do. But sometimes you could just feel that, oh no, after all, I don't like that guy. I'm going to find someone else. And that's perfectly fine. It's very important that you find someone that clicks. If you're listening to me right now, especially it's been an hour, so you probably kind of enjoy my style, because if you think I'm obnoxious, watch something else, right? And I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that. Like the people who think I'm obnoxious, who just don't like my personality, don't like how I sound, how I look, or like how I ramble, or like this obsession with strategy and mindset, as opposed to like, just teach the language for F's sake. Ugh. Like, I do it this way because it works. But some people are like, no, this is not what I want to have. And that's fine. It's really important that you vet the coach or the teacher and that you be sure that this person will be someone that you can trust with your French study. I wish more people could do that. One great thing about the world that we live in is that you have the internet. You can get a teacher from anywhere in the world. You just have to make sure that the schedule is compatible and off you go. In the past, it wasn't like that. You would just go to your local school and register for a class because that was all there was. And if the teacher is not great or is great but not great for you, too bad. You didn't have that many options. And if the class was canceled the next semester because not enough students wanted to stay, too bad. And that really sucked. Honestly, I didn't like that time when I had to teach this way. I'm very happy and grateful that I now get to teach online and I can have students from all over the world, and any French student anywhere can actually find a teacher or a coach that clicks with them. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, especially if you're going to use a platform like Italki. It might take sometimes to just connect with teachers. Don't hesitate to email a teacher first, especially if they don't have a lot of content. Like if you don't have a lot of money to pay for a good coach or teacher, that means you might not be able to hire someone like me who has just created a lot of content. And like if someone has a lot of content like I do, it's very easy to vet that person. Like you can watch hours of me talking and you can easily take your time to decide whether or not you like me, even before you come to speak to me one-on-one on a free consultation. But if you, and that's also why the people who have a lot of content, they can be a lot more expensive because they're more visible. But if you have only a small budget, you might want to hire basically the best kept secret, right? So the best kept secret is somewhere in the depth of Italki or Preply or a platform like that. And they are excellent and they will be the perfect person for you, and they will be cheap, mostly because they just aren't that great at marketing. Or I mean, it's not about being great or not great. It's not really a matter of like, I don't want to judge or sound like I judge them. It's just that some people are just amazing at teaching, but they're not great at being visible, and therefore they're the best kept secret. If you find them, keep them. Like honestly, if you go to Italki, you find a tutor or a teacher that you love, and they are reliable and they're there every week, just stay with them because it's amazing. But they're not easy to find. That's my whole point. So it's very important to take, especially if you don't have a lot of money, you will have to put in a lot of time, because you will need to take time to vet the teacher, find the person that's right for you. So I hope that makes sense. That was basically all of my talking points today. If you have any questions about this or about anything at all, just ask. We do have another 5 minutes. I've rambled a lot, but it's okay. I'm happy to stay on a couple minutes more. If you have still more questions, I can make an exception to the 1 hour rule, just because it's, yeah, I wasn't expecting that it would be so long. I'm happy that that resonates with you mostly, and that it's useful. So let's see. Do you recommend a coach or teacher who speaks the mother tongue or is not relevant? That will depend on you. So you speak Spanish. For me, I insist a lot on being specialized in coaching English speakers. I actually also speak Spanish, not as good as English, not as well as English, but it could be useful for you to have a coach that speaks Spanish. So, for example, if we were working one-on-one, I would definitely reference English and Spanish when I coach you. Also, because Spanish is close to French, so that could definitely be an advantage. But that might also depend on your way of working with a teacher or coach. It can be an upside, definitely. If it was for me, I would rather have a coach. Like if I wanted to learn, say, Chinese, I would rather have a Chinese coach who speaks both French and English than a Chinese coach who speaks just English, because of that. And especially with Spanish and French, because they're so close, it will be in your interest to have a coach or a teacher that speaks Spanish, but it will be harder to find. So it's all about vetting them and just seeing if that clicks and if you trust them. So I hope that answers your question. Deborah is saying, preposition and pronouns. I've written to the academy to suspend the rules with these. One of my French rabbit holes. Yeah, about that, we can't suspend them, especially the pronouns, because already with those rules, sometimes we get confused because pronouns can replace different things. So if you start deleting the rules, yeah, no. But you're in the French accelerator, right? I think you still are. I don't know, or maybe you left. I don't remember. But if you are, or if you join again, you can take the workshops about pronouns. I haven't made a workshop about preposition. That would be actually fun to make. Prepositions are typically like the last thing that it's not even the last thing that people master. It's more like people never really master them. And I'm pretty sure if you listen carefully to my English, you will hear preposition mistakes. Once I like to bring up this this joke. It's not a joke. It's like once I said that I was flying off the seat of my pants because I was so busy and I was zooming around and I was flying off the seat of my pants. And the person replied to me like, no, you're flying by the seat of your pants. It's by, but if you're so busy, maybe you're flying off of them. And it was funny. And yeah, like, and you can hear that my English is pretty good. I'm 36 now. I started learning English when I was 10, 27 years, 26 years. So yeah, you're never really done with prepositions, but it's okay because you also never really need to do your prepositions right, all of them. Like you, most of the time, you'll never be misunderstood because of a preposition mistake. So it's the kind of thing you want to let go. In the last workshop that I made for the French Accelerator students, which is about motivation, there was a bit of a conversation about because I asked my students what are their problems with motivation, and interestingly, all the questions they asked in return were about grammar. It was something like, oh, when I don't know when to use the or when not to use the, I get demotivated. And I was like, the is not something that will stop you from speaking French. Even if you would get it wrong every single time, you'd still be good at French. So don't worry about prepositions. Yasmin says, college classes were like that for me. Really sweet teacher, but her style didn't work for me. Yeah, sweet teacher is important. You really want to have a good connection and have a feeling that they're a nice person, but the style and how it is taught, it has to work for you. Like I'm well aware that I'm definitely not the best coach for every single person, which is great because I only have 7 points and I already have 9 clients right now, 7 spots, and I already have 9 clients right now. So that's fine. Like I'm happy to just work with the clients that are the ones that click with me. And if I don't click with someone, that person will certainly find someone who clicks better with them. And that's how it is. Like you have to find the right person. Deborah saying, I have a Rashnas. Thank you. This was very informative. Well, welcome. I'm happy that this helps. This is really cool. Deborah is saying, I have an italki community teacher. She's very popular. Not telling who, secret. Yeah, because you don't want her to be overbooked, right? To be honest, ask her if she still has room, because if she's already overbooked. Like it's like me basically. I mean, I don't have spots right now, unfortunately. So if you're in a hurry to find a coach, that can't be me. If you're not in a hurry, I'll let you know when I have spots. But yeah, you mean you can't be bribed in the French Academy? You do crack me up. I'm not sure if that was for me, but if so, thank you. English prepositions are insane too. They are, and prepositions are insane in every single language. In German, it's the same. In Spanish, it's the same. In Portuguese, it's the same. And even in Esperanto, it's supposed to be the easiest language, but the prepositions are still a little bit crazy. Right, so I'm at the top of the comments. I'm right on the hour. I'll stay here a couple of minutes. If there are other questions, please type them in. I just want to like leave a little bit of time. I'm kind of running out of breath, so it's good that it's almost over. But still happy to stick around if there are any other questions. And otherwise, I'll see you next week as usual. I wonder how many comments we've had. We don't actually know at the same time. I only know it at the end, so it's always a surprise if we have broken the 100 comments or not. I will give you. I will tell you on Telegram, and I will try to. I'm trying to find the link to Telegram in case you don't know it. My Telegram channel. Just while perhaps you are typing your answers, no, not answers, questions. So we have 75 people on Telegram right now. So that means that there is a lot of people that are on this channel, over 1,300 that are not on Telegram yet. So please join if you are not on Telegram with me yet. And if you are, thank you for being there. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so Debra is saying, thanks, I like your points, probably will be asleep next week, nothing personal. Poor you, it's 5 a.m. Oh my God, I'm so happy that you stayed on. It's so nice to have you. It's really cool. Yeah, it might be different in summer and winter. I'm not so sure because sometimes we don't have exactly the same time zone. So maybe it's going to be a bit either later or earlier. But yeah, it's hard for Australia. Like, sorry, I'm just historically, most of my clients have been in the US. Now I think it's not so much the case anymore. I have several in Europe. I got one in Africa right now, and I got 3 in Asia. So I might consider changing my schedule a bit now that it's like my clientele is somehow sliding to the east. I don't really know why. It just happens. But yeah. Yasmin is saying, question on Telegram. Do you have a question? Yes. Can you open it up to comments? No, actually, I cannot do that because it's a one-way channel. So no, it's actually not possible. But what you can do is you can go to the French Fluency Facebook group, and you can post your comments or your questions in there. I know it's not ideal, but yeah, Telegram only works this way. It cannot be commented upon. So no, it's just a one way for me to share things basically. But if you have questions about anything that's on Telegram, you can bring them here and ask them, or you can bring them to the Facebook group, the French Fluency. It's called French Fluency Together Facebook group, and it's free. And if you're in the French Accelerator, you can also bring them to our personal closed Facebook group for the community. Like if it's a personal question that's better in a closed, safe space, you can also do that. Other channels have it set to comments. Maybe I don't know about that. Maybe it's possible, and it's something that I don't know. I will research it, and I will see what can be done. Like the person who told me how to do Telegram, because I took a course to learn how to do Telegram, and I thought it was impossible. Like that course said it was impossible. Maybe it's a new feature. I'll look it up. Thank you for letting me know. Linda saying, thank you for an informative office hour. Nice to see everyone again, and especially Deborah. Yeah, I agree. It was so nice to have all of you. And I think we had over 12 people in total. So yeah, if I'm now almost 4 minutes past the hour, so apparently there are no questions anymore. So thank you guys so much for having been with me. I'll be back here next week at the same time, even if you're in the US. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back at the regular time because the time zone will change here as well. It's a bit of a mess with the daylight saving time. So I hope that no one got lost. And yeah, I will see you next week. Thank you guys for being live with me. I appreciate you so much. And see you next week. Have a good week. Become more of a French speaker in the meantime. Bye.